Ref app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Was it you, Grayson?
What'd I do now?
Were you the one that blew up the bathroom?
Nah, I haven't been in the bathroom all day. That's how we're starting out a Thursday show?
Listen, did you not? It's what we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, me and Steely. Steely's all up in arms because he tried to walk into the studio bathroom earlier and use it, and lo and behold, he was great. He was greeted with what I believe he termed a whiff of evil when he entered. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it. I'm still not convinced that it wasn't the old man himself.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to cast suspicion anywhere else. But
I've got plausible deniability because I haven't been in that bathroom once today.
You have eyewitnesses to back up your account?
I mean, you want to date the fingerprints that are on the doorknob? You won't find mine in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, well, Steely has made multiple trips to the bathroom as he usually does. So if it's opportunity we're talking about, he's had the most opportunity.
You know, there's always a million ways you could start our show. That wasn't one of them that was going to be on the bingo card.
What did you think? Like, when you sit down at this microphone,
yeah,
and you don't really have any idea which direction I'm going to go first, where is your mind wandering to? What are you expecting?
There's a couple of things. Something that has to do with something that caught you by surprise with being a new homeowner, something that might have been left on your porch, or something hilarious that you found on Twitter.
Oh, there's a lot of hilarity on Twitter. No question about it. A lot of hilarity on social media.
Especially today.
Also a lot of AI slop. People, please get off Facebook. I am begging you. I am begging you. It's to the point where I'm consistently fielding DMs from people that are linking me to AI stories from Facebook about something completely absurd having to do with OU football and asking me why I haven't talked about it yet or why they haven't seen anything else on this yet. Folks, it's because you're getting bamboozled by artificial intelligence. It's got to be there's just got to be crazy ad revenue that Facebook generates for click-throughs. That's got to be the reason why these AI bots proliferate on Facebook in particular. Also, the reality that Facebook's demographic, for the most part, is older folks that aren't super tech savvy and aren't great at distinguishing the differences between real videos and real headlines and AI videos and AI headlines. I am begging you, if you are listening to this show, please get off of Facebook. Delete your Facebook account. Never go back.
But it's like TikTok does something like this too, because once you get a certain number of viewership, then you're eligible for the creator fund. And that's why you see all these AI videos of squirrels shooting up people's houses because they're – I'm not joking with that, by the way.
No, he's not.
Because it gets millions of views. And, you know, if you're somebody like me who's fascinated by animals that do somewhat human-like things – you can come across a video of a raccoon breaking into somebody's house with a musket. And it gets views, and it gets somebody some revenue. So, yep. Man, AI is a hoe.
AI is a hoe. AI is more of a hoe than anything has ever been. Folks, get off of Facebook. Listen to the radio. Tune into this show every single day instead of getting your news from Facebook.
JW Crunch on our YouTube chat says, how dare you blame the old people? for anything on Facebook, that might be the demographic to blame.
Yeah, no, that is the demographic to blame.
Also, why are you on Facebook?
Well, I'm not on Facebook. I guess technically I have a Facebook account. I never log into Facebook. But it's people that will DM me on Twitter or on OU Insider, and they're like, hey, I saw such and such on Facebook. How come I haven't heard you talk about it? How come I haven't seen a post from you about this? And it's just the most absurd, asinine headline imaginable. And I have to resist the urge to snap back with, did you really believe this? Did you really believe this was real and legitimate? And instead I just have to be like, hey, that's actually a fake story.
Angry Ronnie says the gorilla videos from AI are hilarious. That's the thing. They're hilarious, and they're absolutely fake.
Evan from Blanchard said, wait, the videos of Mr. Rogers making D's nuts jokes are fake. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Unfortunately, like you would think that the human race would have a 100% success rate in being able to identify such things as fake and as AI generated. But there's always people who somehow don't get it.
Yeah. A texter in the 318, that's the state of Louisiana, says, taking a dump during a commercial break is true pro stuff. That's a lightning fast process.
Yeah, the commercial breaks are 4 minutes.
I'll say, we've got 4-minute breaks. So.
You do got to be efficient.
Uh-huh.
Don't have to be lightning fast, but you do have to be efficient. No doubt about it. Jim in Arlington says, Parker, you need to take your message to the local nursing homes and everyone's grandmas, and hopefully they are listening. Oh, that's what we have Steely for. Steely owns the olds demographic. We need him to be spreading these messages, which, in general, he does a pretty good job of. Okay, let's dig into some actual sports talk. How about that? 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line here on the show, which is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. If you are shopping around for a brand new vehicle, check out Dorsey Jones, family-owned and operated. And GMC, of course, offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. Dorsey Jones, in addition, offers phenomenal service, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. So head out to El Reno, check out Dorsey Jones. It was about an hour and a half ago that kind of out of nowhere, the news hit the Twitterverse, courtesy of Daniel McMorris himself, the 3-star offensive tackle from right down the road, Norman North High School. He's not going to be taking his scheduled official visit to the University of Oklahoma this weekend. We haven't addressed it since it happened, because that is what this hour is for. So we're going to address it. Grayson is the voice of Norman North Athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel McMorris is a guy that I've been covering closely for a year plus now. And so we're both pretty tapped in on this situation in particular. And what I can tell you all is that essentially here's what it comes down to. Daniel McMorris, as his process unwound, had kind of begun to focus in on 3 schools: Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Cal. There was a belief, a very widespread belief, I think maybe even an intention on Daniel McMorris's part to commit to the University of Oklahoma at the tail end of his process. And when he set the decision date for the days immediately following his OV to Oklahoma, I think it was easy to assume, natural to assume, right to assume, that the Sooners were in ideal position to get this one done. However, in conversing with a number of different sources over text ever since this news dropped, here's what I've gleaned. For one thing, it is Cal that made a really, really strong impression with McMorris when they got him on campus for an official visit. They made a strong enough impression and a strong enough pitch that they were able to become a serious consideration for McMorris's commitment. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to the University of Oklahoma. Well, now I got something to think about with Cal and the fit that they're offering me, the pitch that they're putting in front of me. And evidently on the Oklahoma end, the feeling was, okay, we got Deacon Schmidt, we got Noah Best, we got the two cornerstones of our offensive line class here in the 2026 cycle. If you feel that strongly about Cal, we're not really going to fight you. You go ahead and go to Cal. So I would expect at this point that it is going to be Cal for Daniel McMorris, and Oklahoma's going to continue to peruse the market for an additional offensive tackle, maybe two, in the 2026 cycle. But you have the junior college ranks. You have the transfer portal that you can always lean on. You don't necessarily have to have a huge class here in 2026 straight out of the high school ranks. McMorris was a guy that Oklahoma wanted. They would have taken, absolutely. But they weren't necessarily in a position where they were going to bend over backwards to try and talk him down from going out west and playing for the Golden Bears. So feels like this is the direction that both sides are comfortable going. And so that's what I would expect to be the case here shortly, is that you get a commitment from Daniel McMorris and that it winds up being Cal.
And I think that's, it's a good landing spot for him. By the way, Cal has sneakily outpaced their low expectations.
They're a good program
for this year. I mean, they've actually been pretty decent and pretty capable this year. So, that'll be a good landing spot, obviously far away from home. So, hopefully he's able to develop and remain in a good headspace out there if that's in fact what happens. And I'm interested to see how he's going to play these last remaining games of the regular season and into the postseason for sure.
5-Star Shark says, anybody that is interested in Cal Berkeley can stay there. Cough, cough, Jaden Ott.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody here is going to look at Cal the same after this.
That's unfortunate for Josiah Martin, because I know Oklahoma feels like
right.
Josiah Martin could do a little something at Oklahoma before it's all said and done. But, yeah, he's just, to this point, he's kind of been the other Cal transfer, the understudy to all of the Jaden Ott headlines. But they actually do. They believe quite a bit in Josiah Martin and what he can be. Didn't get much out of Jaden Ott, though. Probably won't get much the rest of the way. The Waffler says, what actually happened was McMorris just tried to get more money from OU, and they said bye-bye. Obviously there are financial considerations that go into every single recruitment. Right? I'm not going to act as though money is not an object, at least in 90% of cases. But we're talking about a 3-star offensive tackle, right? It's not as if the going rate for a guy like that is going to be $500,000. We're not talking about a ton of money in the grand scheme of things. If Oklahoma wanted to pay Daniel McMorris enough money to just get him on board, no questions asked, they could have done it. But, come back to it, he's a guy that, for the most part, Oklahoma feels is reasonably replaceable in the grand scheme. When we were discussing Daniel McMorris earlier in the week, we came back to a truth that has kind of been self-evident throughout this whole process, Grayson, which is that you're not taking Daniel McMorris for what he's going to be in year 1, and probably not what he's going to be in year 2. It's probably year 3 is the absolute earliest that you're going to see Daniel McMorris round into form as a college football player.
Mm-hmm.
And so with where Oklahoma's at, roster-wise, that's a guy that they can approach, whose recruitment they can approach with a sense of healthy indifference.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be, especially at the SEC level too, he's going to be a developmental project. So even at Cal, you're looking at sophomore year, maybe on the absolute most optimistic. Junior year, potentially, and then, a 4-year kind of player. Christy on the text line with a good point. He is going to get a better education at Cal.
Yeah, too bad it's going to be a liberal education. But, yeah.
I was about to say, cue those texts in 3, 2, 1. But, yeah, he's going to get a hell of an education out there.
Southwest Missouri Sooner said, came across a video of Helen Keller slap battling Bob Ross. Hilarious. That's what AI should be used for. Hilarity and nothing more. blatant satire. Wes H. says Danny McMorris is a really strong student and academics are a priority.
Hence going to Cal, potentially.
And yeah, look, from an academic standpoint, going to Cal makes a ton of sense. Now, and like they are in a good spot as a football program. They're not an also-ran by any means. They're not a cellar dweller in the ACC. It is weird that they're in the ACC, and if you go to play college football there, you're going to have to travel 1,500 miles minimum for every single road game in conference. But they have exceeded expectations here in 2025. They have an awesome young quarterback in Jaron Kiave Sagapolutele.
Yes.
Have you seen him?
Yes, I have.
The lefty kid?
Yes.
Yeah, former 5-star.
Also, good on you for pronouncing that mouthful.
Thank you. I had to get good at it. He was a big-time prospect in this 2025 class that just signed back in, last December, I guess. Crazy thing was he signed with Oregon. He was committed to Cal for a really long time, flipped to Oregon on signing day, went through bowl practices with Oregon, decided he hated it, and hit the transfer portal, and was at Cal within a month.
Interesting.
So, early December, Cal. By signing day on, what was that, December 5th, maybe? All of a sudden, it was Oregon. Bowl season, Oregon. January rolls around, portal, back to Cal.
Okay.
So he did a whole 180, a whole 360, I suppose.
Yeah.
In the span of about a month and a half.
Cal is 5-2.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they have not beaten anybody good, but they are 5-2.
And they're going to have to be ready to fight a financial battle for their young quarterback services because Sagapolutele is going to be a target this winter. And some may ask, well, what if he doesn't hit the portal? He's still going to be a target because that's how it works these days. Doesn't matter if a kid's in the portal or not. There will be schools hitting up his family members, hitting up his agent, trying to gauge his willingness to leave Berkeley for a better deal somewhere else. But if they can keep Sagapolutele in Berkeley, that's a dude that you can have some success with the next few years because he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
Already playing quite well.
Yeah. 3-star Glenn in Nashville says, I don't have a problem with these kids taking what they think is the best package that is offered to them. But what I would like to see is OU not let these kids transfer back when they go out of state. Don't like it and want to come home. We don't need to be a safe landing spot for local kids that want to try to leave and then come back. Okay, so is that's not been a trend, has it?
No,
Yeah,
no, it hasn't. It's one thing if you have a guy like Jake Roberts that chooses to go to school somewhere out of state for lack of an offer from Oklahoma, because that's a guy, if he'd had an OU offer out of high school, he was going to the University of Oklahoma. I can't think offhand, and maybe there are examples. Maybe I just have too much bouncing around in my brain right now, but is there a recent example of a guy that had an OU offer within state lines, chose to go somewhere else instead, and then transferred back to the University of Oklahoma? Help me out here, text line. I know you guys will. 405-651-3439. We got to hit an opening timeout here. Let's hear from our sponsors that make this all possible here on the Ref. Locked In rolls along next. More OU football and recruiting talk with me, Parker Thune, and him, Grayson Singleton. This is the Home of Sooner fans. Stay right here.
Sound off any time of day on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, USA.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
This is Mark Van Hoos, owner of Van Hoos Fence. Van Hoos Fence has years of experience and proven superior performance, kind of like a certain head ball coach.
We know Van Hoos Fence offers the best value and service for your residential, commercial, or sports fencing needs. Whether it's a new install or repair work, let Mark and his team at Van Hoos Fence be your trusted resource.
Call us today at 405-735-1167.
Save yourself from Googling it up. Go to vhfence.com. They will work with you in a great way.
When you quit tobacco with nicotine patches, gum, or lozenges, you double your odds of success. So, this month, we're giving you more for free. Get an 8-week supply when you sign up with the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Text READY to 34191 or visit okhelpline.com to double your odds of quitting tobacco with 8 weeks of free patches, gum, or lozenges all month long. A program of TSET.
Hey Sooners, I'm OU alum and Boyd Street Ventures founder James Spann. Some players are just built different, and so are some companies. At Boyd Street Ventures, we find under-the-radar Oklahoma companies with the drive, grit, and talent to win big. Our portfolio is growing fast, and so is our investor interest. Fund 1 closes December 31st, so don't wait. To learn more, visit BoydStreetVentures.com. That's BoydStreetVentures.com. Under the radar, above the crowd.
Hey, it's Teddy Lehman here. Catch myself and Tyler McComas here on The Ref every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6 on The Rush. No one covers Sooner football like we do, and there's no better way to make sure you never miss a show than by listening in on the KREF app. We might even mention where you're listening from on the Ref Army Locator. If you don't have the app, you can take the home of Sooner fans anywhere you may roam on an iPhone or Android. Just search KREF in your app store to download the app and take the Ref with you everywhere.
Oh my nosh, look at that view. And the food too. Come see us at Nosh on the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club. We're open to the public and open at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday through Sunday, as well as game days. Come by and make us a part of your game day tradition and take it up a notch. Event spaces are available through the Jimmy Austin Golf Club or call 405-630-8267. Nosh at the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club in Norman, your game day headquarters.
I'm State Farm Agent Julia Chu, and you already know our office is a place to turn for your insurance and financial needs. Now that place has changed to 701 Wall Street. While the location may have changed, the commitment of our team is as strong as ever. So whether you already know us or want the one-of-a-kind service offered by the Julia Chu Agency, call us at 329-3311 or come visit at our new location, 701 Wall Street, right on the corner of Boardwalk and Wall Street in Norman.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
It's locked in here on the Ref. Parker, Thune, Grayson, Singleton, and all of you via the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. We were asking the question at the end of last segment after being prompted by a listener. Has there been any player from within state lines that has had an Oklahoma offer, chosen to go elsewhere, chosen to go out of state, most specifically, and then transferred back to Oklahoma later in their college career? Several texters brought up Casey Thompson. That kind of halfway counts in my mind because, yes, he did transfer back to Oklahoma, but he didn't transfer back on scholarship. He was a preferred walk-on. So Oklahoma did not give him an athletic scholarship to attend OU his final season of college football back in 2024. And moreover, there was never really much of an expectation that he was going to play. That was more so that he could have the opportunity to launch his coaching career and to just wear the uniform, which is something he'd always wanted to do. And what also kind of complicated that whole process back in the day was he was getting recruited to Oklahoma in the class of 2018, I believe. But then he got any commitment that he could have made to the University of Oklahoma ended up getting preempted. He got beat to the punch by Cam Rising, who obviously wound up flipping to Texas and then transferring out to Utah and having a good long career there. Long career there. But the Casey Thompson thing might be the best example.
Okay.
That might be the only example, really. Kendall Daniels, does that count? He didn't go out of state. And that was a dude that, regardless of whether or not he had the offer from Oklahoma or was a high priority for Oklahoma coming out of high school, regardless of what the dynamics were between him and OU the first time around, that was a guy that went somewhere and performed. That wasn't a pity take. That wasn't Oklahoma extending a warm Christian blanket to a guy from within state lines so he could come back home and live his dream of being a Sooner, but then not contribute anything.
Kendall Daniels has been like the fifth best
Kendall
defender
Daniels
on this
has been
team.
awesome.
Kendall Daniels has been outstanding.
Kendall Daniels is one of those guys that when he hits the portal, it doesn't really matter where he's from or what the past relationships between him and the former staff were like. If he's on the market, you're going to go try to get that guy, especially with his very natural fit at the Cheetah position.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a charity case. That was Oklahoma's staff stepping up and being like, no, this dude is a perfect fit in our defense. We need to go get him.
Exactly. Like I remember when he first came on the market and we were on this show, and I was like, if OU gets Kendall Daniels, that is going to be a problem for everybody that Oklahoma has to play because he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect.
And he has been so far.
Yes,
He's been great.
The producer says, can you guys give my dad a shout-out on his 82nd birthday? David Johnson of Elk City, love the show. Well, homie, happy birthday to your pop, sir.
Happy birthday, David. Happy birthday. We're glad to have you along for the ride. 405-651-3439, Frisco Sooner with the correct take. Hey, if the kid can play and can help the team, who the hell cares? Amen. Feel like a guy brings value in the transfer portal, you go and get him. Now, another thing I want to discuss today, because when we made the trip out to South Carolina this past weekend, we obviously watched a dominant 26-7 victory by the Sooners over the Gamecocks, but I also got to spend Friday night watching a 5-star cornerback, Joshua Dobson, out of Catawba Ridge High School in Fort Mill, South Carolina, which just so happened to be where Jesse Crittenden and I were staying. It's about 20 minutes south of Charlotte. And so I got me I didn't realize Winthrop University is also there in Rock Hill, I believe, which is right adjacent to Fort Mill. So I got myself a Winthrop Eagles T-shirt as a bit of a souvenir. But I went out to see Josh Dobson Friday night. He's the number 1 cornerback in America in the 2027 cycle, number 3 overall player in the entire country as a junior, and got the chance to catch up with him. And the long and short of it, Grayson, is that that's a kid Oklahoma is seriously in the mix for. Like, would I say they lead? No. But Oklahoma's top 3 easily right now for Josh Dobson.
Do you mind saying along with who?
The other schools that are at the top of his list, like Tennessee, that they're in pretty close proximity.
Right.
That makes some sense. He likes LSU. He likes South Carolina. But what's the common denominator there?
Will those coaches be there?
Correct. There may be an entirely new coaching staff come next year, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. But the reason, among many reasons why Josh Dobson is high on Oklahoma right now, Grayson, is, for one thing, you have the stability on staff, which it feels like we've talked about that quite a bit this week in just evaluating how Oklahoma's defense has gotten to the point where they're as talented and as effective as they are here in 2025. The consistency on staff, the continuity on staff over the last few years, over the entirety of the Venables era, really, certainly is a major contributing factor. But also, man, this is something that matters too. When you have young dudes that show up and get on the field early, that resonates, man. It resonates, for instance, when you're a guy like Cooper Hackett and you're seeing Michael Fasusi play at a high level for Oklahoma as a true freshman at left tackle. What does that make you feel like? Hey, if I get there, I'm not going to have to worry about any sort of BS seniority dynamics. If I'm the best guy, they're going to put me on the field. And it doesn't work that way everywhere, especially not in the NIL era where you have sums of money and, in some cases, large sums of money committed to certain individuals, and you feel an obligation to put them on the field quite a bit, perhaps more than they deserve, for one of two reasons. One, it's you're operating with the sunk cost fallacy, and you're trying to get your return on investment out of the kid. Or you're just trying to make sure that he doesn't get disgruntled, choose to leave the team, and hit the transfer portal again. You're managing egos, right? So, but when you have young guys at Oklahoma, the likes of Eli Bowen last year, Cortland Guillory this year, this is very relevant, particularly at cornerback. When you have young guys that get on the field and make plays, that speaks volumes to a kid like Josh Dobson. Let's be honest. Historically speaking, Oklahoma has not been able to recruit 5-star cornerbacks with any degree of effectiveness. Who was the last 5-star cornerback that Oklahoma signed? I know some are going to say Buki. He wasn't a consensus 5-star, though. I think maybe one service had him as a 5-star, but he wasn't a consensus 5-star. When was the last time Oklahoma signed a 5-star cornerback? Have they ever signed a 5-star cornerback? This is not the type of player that you're used to seeing Oklahoma in the running for, but a few things help out here. One, the entire staff is engaged in the effort to recruit Josh Dobson to Norman. Two, he sees what Eli Bowen did last year and what Cortland Guillory is doing this year and feels strongly that if he shows up in 2027 as a true freshman, he can do all of those same things and will be granted the opportunity to do all of those things. And also, man, he was on campus for the Michigan game. If you're going to make a first impression on a kid like that,
well, that'll help.
That was a good weekend to have him in town.
Yeah, and Josh Dobson, for those of you who haven't watched the film, that's what a 5-star looks like. I mean, just technically sound and just so smooth. Got good size on him, too. You left this part out. He's 6'1", 180.
Yeah.
He's got really good size on him, which gives him a plus, by the way, in terms of projecting long-term over a guy like Eli Bowen who's 5'9", 5'10", or whatever. So he's got really good size. He's so technically sound. Whoever is coaching him and whoever has trained him has done one hell of a job. I mean, he should be able to put – if Joshua Dobson goes into college and becomes an all-SEC-type player, Joshua Dobson should be at the front of the resume because he's done a hell of a job with that kid. Good ball skills. Should be a guy that once he fills out and gets in a college weight room, should be able to compete for snaps as a freshman. That's what a 5-star looks like.
And if you have the skills at cornerback, if you have the skills to play that position, and those skills show up to that extent on tape, odds are they're going to carry over pretty quickly to college football. I mean, we've seen in years past, we've seen true freshmen, not just at Oklahoma, but we've seen those polished, very technical true freshmen with the dog mentality, because that's just as crucial. We've seen those guys play high-level ball and contribute to, in some cases, championship teams. You go back to LSU in 2019, LSU's offense was unstoppable. That's what really carried them. That's what really elevated them to national championship status. But you remember Derek Stingley that year?
Derek Stingley. Yep.
Derek Stingley. As a true freshman, man, he was playing as well as any cornerback in the country.
Jeez.
I can't remember whether he was a 5-star or a high 4, but he was one of those guys where you had that expectation of him, and boy, did he live up to it, and then some.
Speaking of LSU, don't they got another corner that's making an impact as a true freshman right now?
Oh, DJ Pickett.
Is he the one that's like 6'4", 6'5"? Yeah.
6'5" playing corner.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? That's an alien, man.
Uh-huh.
You can play cornerback at 6'5", you are an alien.
Because even Richard Sherman wasn't 6'5". He was 6'3".
Uh-huh.
And we thought that was big.
Richard Sherman was huge by cornerback standards.
Yes.
Because cornerback is a position that requires such a high degree of technique and fluidity, and oftentimes bigger guys like that just don't possess it.
100%. Like, I mean, it's hard to flip your hips like that at 6'5" or whatever DJ Pickett is, but he does it well.
Brian and Bixby says, yeah, but can he find the ball while in phase? LOL. Well, if he can do that, he'll certainly see the field at Oklahoma right off the bat.
I would wager to say yes. I would wager to say that is an apparent yes with Josh Dobson.
A listener in Louisiana says, don't ever mention Buki again. What a train wreck.
I feel like that's the third time we've mentioned Buki this week.
Have we mentioned him this week?
I think we have. Either that or alluded to him.
Why else would we have brought up Buki? I'm trying to think.
I can't remember what we talked about, but I know it was at least in the last 2 days.
Chris in Tulsa says, Stingley still interfered on Hazelwood in that Peach Bowl. I don't remember anything from that Peach Bowl. This is a story I've told before. I'm pretty sure I was patient zero. I got COVID before anybody else got COVID.
Oh, that's right.
I was sick as a dog in the press box of the Peach Bowl. I left in the third quarter because I was so sick. But I distinctly remember Buki getting ejected from that game for the late hit on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And that is the only play. That is literally the only play that I have a distinct memory of. So, I'm sure Stingley did interfere with Jaden Hazelwood in the Peach Bowl. If so, I sure don't remember it. 405-651-3439. Many more of your texts ahead here on The Ref as we wrap up Locked In here on a Thursday. Keep it here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Much more ahead.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is The Ref, home of Sooner fans.
Lake Crest Casino and Hotel is the perfect getaway in Ardmore, Oklahoma, where fun, comfort, and entertainment all come standard. Stay in our luxurious 89-room hotel or treat yourself to our resort-style pool with outside bar, enjoy fine dining in our restaurant, or try your luck in our casino. The Oasis Boutique offers something for everyone. Plan your next getaway at Ardmore's newest destination for luxury, excitement, and unforgettable fun at lakecrestcasino.com or call 580-222-2910.
Plumbing and air conditioning problems seem to happen at the worst time. Hey, it's Chris Plank here. And a while back when we had a plumbing issue at our home, our first call was to Norman Air. The team at Norman Air was great, from upfront pricing to alerts before the tech arrived. The whole experience from start to finish was great. With financing available to their Max membership and servicing from North Edmond all the way south to Purcell, Norman Air is the go-to for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical issues. Visit normanair.com today.
Hi Norman, it's DJ Newsom with Alliance Bank, your community-driven, friendly neighborhood bank. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, lead a nonprofit organization, or just someone seeking a better banking experience, we've got you covered. From business to personal banking, we tailor our services to suit everyone's needs. We believe in making banking easy and enjoyable. Visit our Norman location or call us today at 405-286-5750. Alliance Bank, banking tailored to your needs. Member FDIC.
Looking for a company that can do both pest control and lawn care? Look no further than Atlas Pest Control and Atlas Lawn Care. Locally owned and trusted since 1959, serving Edmond, Yukon, Newcastle, Blanchard, Midwest City, Norman, Moore, Del City, and the OKC area. Atlas has complete pest and lawn coverage all in one place. Call today for your no-obligation quote and experience service from professionally trained technicians who care about your property as much as you do. Atlas Pest Control and Lawn Care, 405-321-4643.
Hey guys, this is Lisa Towie, owner and broker of 828 Real Estate. 828 Real Estate is your premier full-service commercial and residential real estate brokerage and property management firm. With our team of real estate agents and specialized property management team, 828 is here for you in every capacity. Whether a seller or buyer, an investor or renter, please explore our website at 828re.com. 828 Real Estate, service with purpose. 405-701-8881. Call us today.
This winter, hit the court and join the action. The Youth Winter Basketball League is here, open to athletes of all skill levels, Build your game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, supportive environment. With flexible registration options and volunteer coaches focused on teamwork, there's a spot for everyone, whether you're playing for fun or aiming to compete. Don't miss out on early bird pricing. Scholarships are available for Norman residents based on need. Sign up today and make this season unforgettable. Visit yfacsport.com. You might know that State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has great service. Cindy is your good neighbor after all. But did you know that State Farm has surprisingly great rates too? Yep, that's right. Along with good neighbor service, State Farm agent Cindy Nasher has surprisingly great rates for everyone in Norman. So call State Farm agent Cindy Nasher at 405-307-0500 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge on treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Donate today at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
It is the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune, Grayson, Singleton talking OU football and recruiting with you as we wrap up our Thursday show. Getting ready to turn it over to Tyler and Ted at 3 o'clock for 3 hours of the rush. Blake from Owasso on the text line checking in says, sorry, sure you already talked about it, tuning in late. Is OU out on Daniel McMorris since he canceled his OV? Yes, do expect Daniel McMorris to commit elsewhere. Just kind of a wild sequence of events. That whole process has just been bizarre, hasn't it, Grayson? Where it looked for the longest time like Oklahoma wasn't going to offer him, and then they did offer him, and everybody justifiably, with everything that kid had said about his desire to be a Sooner, figures, all right, that's over. He's a Sooner. It's a wrap. He's in the class. I know that's how I felt. And now it looks like he's going to be not an Oklahoma Sooner, but a Cal Golden Bear. Wild times we're living in. But yes, Danny McMorris will not be taking his previously scheduled official visit to the University of Oklahoma this weekend. And instead, the Sooners will host only one official visitor. And so at this point, you would figure that's the dude that's going to be getting the full attention of the staff this weekend. He will be getting the full extent of the red carpet treatment. And that would be 4-star wide receiver Jasir Rogers out of Middletown, Delaware.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Because we got this question on the YouTube chat from Lloyd. Is OU leading on Gabriel Osborne, the corner from Mustang?
OU, I would say yes, they are leading on Gabriel Osborne. I don't know that a decision is imminent. And if a decision is not imminent right now for any 2027 guy, take your pick. Choose a recruit. Anybody and everybody in the 2027 class that isn't closing in on a decision within a matter of weeks, odds are, Grayson, the landscape is going to shift so drastically in the next couple of months that their entire process is going to be thrown into some semblance of limbo, and it's going to change because I came on the air yesterday, and I said it, and I believe it firmly. I think 20 to 25 Power 4 jobs are going to change hands at the end of the year. And so, boy, is there so much that has the chance to shift drastically if something like that happens. Mm-hmm. And if we see that much change across the coaching ranks at the Power 4 level. So, naturally, Oklahoma's in a pretty strong position to be able to pitch stability to some of these guys in the 27 class because you have had continuity on staff over the last 4 years under Brent Venables. 7 of his 10 original on-field assistants are still with the program. And I think with what Oklahoma has been able to do already here in 2025, Venables' job security has been re-solidified. But and this is an extreme example, so I'm not insinuating that it's going to be something of this ilk, but just think back, for instance, to Deion Sanders taking the Colorado job in December of 2022. Do you remember the fervor that there was on the recruiting trail when Deion Sanders took the Colorado job?
Yes.
Everybody wanted to commit to Colorado, visit Colorado, get an offer from Colorado.
Yep.
Colorado was the talk of the town in the recruiting world. And so I'm not necessarily trying to get your hopes up or get your expectations up that you're going to see such a significant move as one that mirrors Deion Sanders taking the Colorado job a few years back. But you get where I'm going with it. There may be a shakeup, for better or worse, that causes the general recruiting landscape, the 2027 class at large, to look very differently than they currently look upon 4, 5, 6 Power 4 schools.
Yeah, there's going to be a really big recalibration once all these jobs are done changing hands. A texter in the 405 says, groovy 70s porn music coming back from breaks today.
70s porn music?
Yeah, that didn't know that's what that was.
I have never partaken in 70s porn. So
neither have I. I'll take your word for it. Blake from Owasso also says, Epps no longer taking a visit Saturday.
That would be news to me, Blake. I'll check on that. But I talked to Taven Epps, 2 nights ago? Tuesday night? And he was coming to Oklahoma and looking forward to coming to Oklahoma. So I will double back, but I have not been under the impression that anything has changed with regard to Taven Epps' plans. That's the 4-star edge rusher from the state of California, currently committed to Texas.
Yep.
Jim in Arlington asked Parker, have you already talked about OU's chances with the number 1 cornerback in the 27 class? Everybody wants him. Yes, Jim, you missed that conversation by about 10 minutes. We did talk about Joshua Dobson from Fort Mill, South Carolina, last segment. And OU is in good position there. He's going to take a return visit this offseason. Oklahoma is likely to get an official visit, I would say, at this time. But I think the thing you have to wait out with him is kind of going back to the point I just made, Grayson. What happens at South Carolina? Because it seems to be a long shot that Shane Beamer is still the Gamecocks head coach in 2026. I don't know if he's going to have much of a choice but to take the life raft and go to Blacksburg, Virginia. If that's the case, who does South Carolina hire? Is it a sexy hire? Is it a hire that thoroughly rejuvenates belief in Gamecock football and gets a hometown kid like Josh Dobson excited about the opportunity to wear the garnet and white? I don't know. But with everything that hangs in the balance right now, with the school that is 60 miles down the road from where he lives, I would say it's probably going to be a while before we get any semblance of a resolution to the Josh Dobson recruitment. He's down to a top 12. I would say within that top 12, he's got a top 5 or 6. He's got maybe 5, 6 schools that he's seriously considering. Oklahoma's up there. I would say Oklahoma is top 3. You're still dealing with a 5-star that is over a year out from signing. Still a lot of room for things to shift in that recruitment. CD from Hockley says, with Mix and Ruxer at OU, safe to say Joe John Finley is here next year? I don't know, CD, because we got 5 more games. We got 5 more games left in the season. It's still not a certainty, even though I would say it is quite a likelihood. It's not a certainty that any of this coaching staff is back next year. I think you have the opportunity to completely solidify that with a win Saturday against Ole Miss. But am I going to say that any of these assistants are beyond a shadow of a doubt going to be returning next season? No. No, I'm not. Because here's what you also must consider. I'm not just necessarily talking about whether or not Oklahoma chooses to run it back with Joe John Finley or any of their other assistants. If there is as much change as I have discussed at the P4 level amongst the head coaching ranks, and you have 20 to 25 head coaches that are building out new staffs at Power 4 schools, who are they going to look for to fill out their staffs? How about individuals that are currently on staff with some of the top programs in the country? And in particular, some of the top units in the country. There are going to be substantial markets, I would think, for the services of multiple Oklahoma defensive assistants.
Yep.
Miguel Chavis, Todd Bates, Brandon Hall, Jay Valai. If any and all of those guys were a defensive coordinator somewhere else in 2026, it would not shock me in the slightest, because I think that there are going to be offers on the table for each of them in that regard.
Do you think all of them would get defensive coordinator opportunities?
Obviously, all of them won't, but any one of them could.
Well, I mean, all of them are capable of getting those.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, all of them are. And I know there have been inquiries in the past with Bates, Valai, and Hall about a DC role somewhere else. I don't know whether there's been such a conversation with Chavis, but with as well as he's developing right now, there's at the very least a co-DC type of title that some school is probably going to come before him and offer this offseason.
Chris from Knoxville says Bates and Chavis better get a pay raise from OU. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you're giving anybody raises this offseason, you're giving those two dudes raises.
It would be those two.
They, in tandem right now, are doing incredible work with Oklahoma's front four. U.S. Army Sooner says, hey, Parker, when are we going to start talking about early enrollees for the 26 class? That usually doesn't become a serious topic of conversation or much of a topic of conversation until 2 or 3 weeks to signing day, because that's really when you're getting a concrete sense of how the class is going to materialize and who's going to be in it. We know the majority of the individuals that are going to wind up in Oklahoma's class right now, but not until we feel like we know for sure, okay, these are the guys, do we really start talking about, okay, who's early enrolling, who's not. And I'll give you the spoiler, because it used to be, I think, a lot more prominent of a discussion point. Oh, is this guy early enrolling, or is this guy coming in June, or like what's the dynamic there? These days, almost everybody enrolls early. Almost everybody. 16 of Oklahoma's 18 signees in the 2025 class enrolled early. The only two that didn't were C.J. Nixon and Marcus James. So it's honestly more of a question of who's not enrolling early these days. And we'll be on top of that when the time comes. We'll individually check in with each of those guys and get a sense of what their plans are. But some other things have to wind down first before we really start to get deep in the weeds on where things stand there.
Chris from Knoxville also says, if Bates or Chavis leave for a DC job, I'll be very happy for them, but I will also go play in traffic.
What you can't have is Bates and Chavis leaving. Now, if Bates or Chavis leaves, you have a very natural card that you can play in the aftermath, and that is, right now, Todd Bates is your defensive tackles coach, Miguel Chavis is your defensive ends coach. Whoever remains behind gets the title of defensive line coach. If Todd Bates leaves, Miguel Chavis becomes the University of Oklahoma's defensive line coach. If Miguel Chavis leaves, Todd Bates becomes OU's defensive line coach.
And either one of those, you would be more than comfortable with giving that to.
I don't think anyone would have any qualms with that. Mojo Eraser says, I remember when Chavis was coming here, people were upset he was our defensive ends coach, LOL. And that had a lot to do with the guy that Oklahoma showed the door in order to bring in Miguel Chavis, and that was Jamar Cain, who is a very capable coach and recruiter in his own right. And that was the biggest question, I think, when Brent Venables announced the original composition of his very first staff at Oklahoma was, is Miguel Chavis in time going to prove to be an equal or better option to what Jamar Cain would have been? And we obviously don't know how Kane's tenure at OU would have gone down had he continued as defensive ends coach, edge coach. But here's what we do know about Chavis. He's recruited, and he has developed.
It's worked out pretty good either way. Where's Kane at right now anyway?
I believe he is still on the staff of the Denver Broncos as a pass rush
Oh,
assistant.
is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I should know this. This is
with
my team.
Oh, no. He's the defensive line coach. He's the Broncos D-line coach.
Well,
he was a pass rush specialist. He has since been promoted to D-line coach.
I'll tell you what, he's done a hell of a job with that then, if
Yes,
that's
he
his
has.
role.
He's a stud, man. Jamar Kane is a stud. College teammate, by the way, of one of our regular listeners, Big Mike Boganowski. They played on opposite sides of the line at New Mexico State. Yeah. How about that look?
Interesting.
All right, folks. That is all on today's installment of Locked In. He is Grayson Singleton. I am Parker Thune. Thanks to all of you for chipping in here today on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. We will do it all again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Until then, Tyler and Ted take you home with The Rush. Coming up next here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.